Let me unmute my microphone, and here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Snowball Esports show. They cannot cancel us because we are free to make. Wait, no! Nothing but the primo production here at Snowball Esports. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on this wonderful occasion. We are joined by some Snowball usuals. We're joined by Judge.
Hello,
everyone. We're joined by Ducky down there. But who's this? Raven. Raven from Ravencast, Raven Rainbow 6. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure to have you on, man. It's like a little light at the end of these dark time tunnels, seeing your face here on this show.
Oh, good.
Good. So how are we all doing, fellas? How's ISO? How's everything? We all doing pretty minty?
Look, mate, I am loving it. Just moved my office setup around and dramatic lighting, as I told you boys in the pre-show. Getting this jawline in. It never existed before this. Whole show, this pose.
You
Chris
look very ominous. It's very
exactly.
Ominous. Yeah.
Is Christopher Nolan behind that camera?
Down. All right, what's that? Christopher Walken.
Is Christopher Nolan behind that camera there? Is he like looking at you? And
I thought you were saying Christopher Walken, and I'm like, yeah, yes.
Yes. So is he behind the camera just directing you? He's like, we got the nice lighting set up. Looks all good.
He wanted more darkness, and there's not enough mature themes in my lighting. But yeah, definitely Christopher Nolan work here.
I love it. I mean, I've just got a whole film crew behind me, and they're all just looking at me like idiots.
Yeah,
don't look at me.
Look at these.
You look like you're in one of those like silence bubbles. Like, you know those rooms that are just like pure white and like silence? That looks like your room right now.
Those auditory sensory deprivation rooms in Norway that you can hear your heart beating so loudly you go insane. Yeah.
The true ISO experience.
The true ISO experience. Raven, how are you doing, man? How's things with you?
Yeah, good. I mean, obviously we had a really big week in terms of Six Masters and Rainbow Six, so I'm pretty knackered, to be honest. Absolute marathon of broadcast this week, but no, I'm feeling great, and it's a good thing about esports, right? Stuff keeps happening even though we're in ISO.
Exactly. If we keep on keeping on, it's, while everyone's at home, we're here busy working. Exactly. And it's been such a busy week for you guys at the Six Masters. You guys are doing such great work. I will be doing a lot of talk into the Six Masters coming up. It is really the guts of today's show. But as usual, we have to get through some news, and there's some exciting and some devastating news. Unfortunately, that is the way how esports is going right now.
Mostly devastating, let's be real.
Mostly devastating. It's unfortunate, but hey, news is news. There's no such thing as bad news, except today. I think Ducky might have some opinions on this one as well, some heated opinions. I'd love to hear those. So we just found out, or I found out, Vancouver Titans have just left the Overwatch League. Now, Overwatch League, we've been memeing it in the past, but now things are starting to get a bit too real for my liking. Ducky, is this the nail in the coffin or one of the many nails in the coffin that Overwatch League has been receiving? Or, is this a necessary change?
Look, the Vancouver Titans situation is pretty rough. Just a TLDR, if you haven't seen it around the place, is that the old Vancouver Titans roster, which is made up of a bunch of Korean prodigies, formerly known as Runaway, has completely disbanded now. They're being replaced by a contenders team, presumably a North American contenders team called Second Wind. And basically, it's a huge loss for the Overwatch community. Runaway is one of the most popular, if not the most popular, Overwatch team in history. I've got a Runaway sweater.
Why am I not surprised that you have a sweater or a jersey or something?
It's a Runaway. I've met people within the org. It's such a homely org. It's the true grassroots to the top league kind of story, and to see that story be tarnished after such a great run, it's really heartbreaking for Overwatch League fans. Is it the nail in the coffin? Well, there's plenty of those that we can already list off. I think it's one of many, and I'm still running on my prediction that I don't think we'll see an our league past next year, but it's sad all around.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this has been part of what people have waited for Overwatch League for quite some time. Or the skeptics in the esports audience have waited for with Overwatch League for quite some time. Particularly those that have voiced concerns around the monetization, the pricing, I should say, on franchise spots and the return on that. anyone that talked about finance around the Overwatch League said it was long-term investment, looking for benefit and payoff in quite the future. And we're looking at that future wrapping up pretty quick. I don't think there's many people that would be able to justify that expenditure. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's plenty of the franchise teams that think this was a really great venture for their franchise and for what their esports clubs and organizations were doing at a larger level. But when we're talking large 7 to 8 figures for entry and costs to be ongoing in this, I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me that this has been worthwhile, and I think it's kind of slowly veering into exactly where our skeptics thought it would eventually go anyway.
Yeah, quicker than usual, quicker than expected as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
I think
me memeing, I just kind of want to pick up my chair and dance with it like it's a coffin right now. And
exactly.
But I'm not doing that. I'm not.
I mean, you're gonna be
feats of strength on the esports, Snowball Esports show.
You're going to be seeing a lot of those memes in the coming future, all through the Overwatch Pro League subreddit. So, I mean, why not get into it now?
Not early.
We'll move. Yeah, exactly. We'll move on to the CS:GO Road to Rio. The Oceanic CS:GO tournament was this week as well. We had Order and RNG. So, Judge, can you give us a little bit more details on that one?
Yeah, so the Order RNG match was the match I chose to watch, and I haven't gone back and watched the VOD from the second match, which was
Chiefs Ground Zero.
Yeah, I thought it was Chiefs Ground Zero.
That was the first round of round robin, so yeah.
Yeah, so I watched the Order RNG match, and it was pretty heartbreaking for Order, to say the least. It was done in 2 maps of the best of 3. Order doing quite well. Some big promise from Alistair in a couple of those rounds too. And Carlo going really ham, to say the least. He's still showing us what he's made of, but it wasn't quite enough. Renegades came back from the outfields and really fragged up Storm to bring it back, and they actually took it out in 2 very close matches in the scoreline. But they were certainly, I felt at the time, Orders to lose. Notwithstanding, we know that Alistair had a power outage before the series started. That's a little shaky. Alistair powered through it, though, and was one of the top performers for the team, but it just wasn't quite enough. So heartbreaking to see that for Order, but Renegades still the top dogs in our region at the moment. And we will, of course, have more Road to Rio games coming up this weekend, which we'll tell you about at the end of the show.
Yep. Exactly. Real quickly, and don't worry, Raven, we're gonna get to you, okay? We're gonna get to you. You need to chill out, son. All right, you're being too loud.
I'm just in such a Rainbow Six bubble.
Exactly. Don't worry. You're gonna be talking our ears off soon. So, real quickly, I really want to touch on ESPN are now broadcasting FB2K this coming season, which is going to be great news. ESPN have already been broadcasting a lot of stuff right now. I've been seeing a lot of Rocket League, hell, even the LCS. Finals is broadcast on ESPN.
Playoffs.
Yeah, the playoffs, which was really cool. So it's really nice to see broadcasters picking up esports. Isn't that nice, guys? That's so nice.
Yeah, I also love it when they get midnight slots on the 3rd channel for that station, but, you know, we're not going to talk about that.
Careful, Ducky, with those words.
Watch yourself, boy.
And I've been just put into here by one of our producers. Wanted some dire news coming out of our fellow compatriots in the New Zealand world, in the New Zealand. There was some controversy at a tournament. They were promised up to 100k in prize pools, but nothing. Kept in the dark. Yeah. Zippo.
Yeah, so I've got a little bit of insider goss on this. So you can catch the full report on Snowball Esports, done by 2 of our great New Zealand content creators. They've done a wonderful job. There was a $100,000 League of Legends tournament to be held in the region. It was massive news. Like, if you entered, you won money. Like, that was how good this thing was. And it's all crumbled. The investors have gone basically silent. The organizers have barely managed to communicate with teams. There hasn't been much communication since the start of the year. Payment details were submitted in February, and obviously now teams are still waiting to get paid. So it's rather dire, and I hope for the sake of the players that it all gets sorted out shortly. Thankfully today we did see some communications from the admins, and so I hope for the sake of the players that the money gets coughed up sooner rather than later.
Right. Yeah, you and me.
It's really sad. I mean, like, we all want esports to continue to thrive and grow, of course. And in the event space, unfortunately, sometimes things like this happen. But we certainly don't want people coming into esports to inject funds and have it turn out to be like the Fire Festival. While this isn't quite that scale, it still leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And it's something that we just don't seem to get away from year after year, that an event like this seems to happen every 12 months somewhere in the world where big names and money's been dropped, and all of a sudden shit can't happen and everyone just goes silent and bails. So I think the sooner we can stop this being a recurring theme, the better.
Usually it's WSG, so it's nice for them to not have the spotlight on them for once.
But I feel like they've. I mean, it's the tale as old as time, really, in esports. I feel like people that do quite a superb job in that, and keeping it realistic, especially in the APAC scene or the Oceanic scene. You got to keep it realistic, and you got to not exceed too much expectation and deliver what you promised. I think that's more important than over delivering and putting these big numbers on, and then ending up like this tournament where you just get massive bad press. Anyway. Out of the sad news,
this is as much as we did it. We're going to talk about brilliant things happening in OCE esports.
Do you, Ducky? I'm glad you said that. Do you want to see a good segue? That's right. We're talking about Rainbow Six, baby.
Oh wow, that was pretty unexpected.
That was pretty hot.
Ladies and gentlemen,
he didn't talk about
it was pretty hot.
Yeah. It is hot, and I'm sweating, and I can't believe I was wearing 2 shirts at that whole time. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Six Masters. Now, Six Masters, if you haven't tuned in, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What are you?
Yeah, right.
Please, Judge. Luckily, we have producers, Judge.
Luckily.
So, if you didn't catch it, some of the games that went down were a bit of a LFO versus TBD. They went 1-for-1. Close game at the start, sort of convincing game at the second half. I would love to touch on the second game a little bit more. Then we had Sinister, classic good Sinister, taking 2 games against the Knights, the Pittsburgh Knights. Elevate and Wildcard, those guys seem to be pushing ahead. It's really cool to see, like, the Wildcard boys, they really work hard, and it's good to see them really doing well. I mean, not without, Ferox putting up a really solid fight. Yep. And Kanga, what are you doing, Kanga? Oh, can I get... speaking about coffin memes, please. Come on, Kanga. You guys...
Anyway, how much hate can Spruce take on broadcast?
Oh, look, I think especially Guz loves to amp up the Spruce hate on broadcasts. Yeah. But, look, I think, he was pretty down in the dumps in that interview, to be honest, which is very... not as Spruce as you would expect, but... Yeah, Kanga are really on struggle street at the moment. It's looking a bit grim.
But I mean, I see it as, being good at something. The first step of being good at something is sucking at something. So they can go only up. That sounds like a backhanded comment. It really isn't. Kanga, please do not. But like, I'm just saying,
Hades is in your DMs as you speak.
Yeah. And Ducky's I have nothing but there as well. Tides reckons that Ducky's a massive Kanga stan. So just to base
Wait, do you have Ducky? Do you have a Kanga jersey back there?
I was mates with Wright, who was one of the Battle Right players. Like, it was just like, I liked their Overwatch team, and now I'm getting flamed for it. Like, I hold no allegiances except if you're the Bombers OPL team. Rest in peace.
I mean, you. All right, enough about coffin memes. Enough about coffin memes. So, Raven, real quickly, and I really want to touch on something before these two dive into it and dig in. I really want to touch on one of the games that was happening in Cafe, which was TBD versus LFO. So LFO had a chance. It was 5-3, and they had a chance to, I would say, turn the tides a bit there. But they had a bit of a lag spike. Do you think that if they didn't have that lag spike and they didn't defuse the bomb, do you think that they could have made a comeback? Do you think they had it in them?
It's really hard to say. I mean, you're right, though. It could have been a real momentum-breaking round, which would have maybe opened the floodgates. Yeah, it's always hard when you look back. You can always pick out all these moments where it's like, what if that was just a millisecond different or something happened? So it is hard to say. It looks like they were hot in that round, though. That was actually one of their much better attacking rounds. So I think the way that it fizzled out would have put them in the dumps and maybe nail in the coffin. Wow, it's the real theme at the moment, right?
Good.
But yeah, it was rough for them in that round, and then of course they didn't recover.
I've been pleasantly surprised by LFO the entire we've only seen 4 maps of them, but I've been pleasantly surprised with like the aggression they've been showing. Like they haven't been like, sometimes you see like Challenger League teams come in, they're trying to test the waters a little bit at the start of the season. They're not playing like they were playing in Challenger League. They're being a bit more passive in a Pro League environment. But we've just seen like LFO come out of the gate week 1, they took a map off Elevate. Yes,
Elevate,
mine was working. Yeah. This week they took a map off TBD. I think they play Wildcard next week, so it's like they've got this really hard run of games, and they're consistently putting in aggressive performances. They're consistently just showing up. Like they're showing that they aren't just meant to be that open qualifier team who is only here because Fnatic chose not to play. They are proving their mettle, and they have a real chance of actually breaking top 4 in this tournament.
Yeah, and you said like it's only been 4 maps, but you mentioned the opponents. 4 maps against those teams is a pretty big deal, and the fact that they've won 50% of those maps is also really big. And it's actually quite amazing to see that they've come through the open quals into this kind of tournament against the caliber of teams that they've been up against so far, and they haven't looked like they're buckling under that kind of pressure. And a lot of people might argue that they don't have pressure because they're the open quals team. But I was part of a team that came up through Challenger League a long time ago, a bit of a dinosaur. But that does actually create some pressure. You know, you want to perform because you don't want to seem like you're just there as a bit of a joke. You were the bottom feeder team, that kind of thing. So there is pressure for them. And the fact that they've been able to perform like this, and it looks coordinated, it's not just some uncalculated run out every window door possible, play all the cheese strats you can think of. It's actually quite good siege coming out of them.
And looking at results like that and going a little bit broader and beyond, it's the macro of a team's development compared to the micro. The micro is this season, how they're doing, how in the immediate future, what their results are likely going to be for this season, and that's it. Whereas looking at the macro of a team and the development of those players, watching them come through right now and taking these maps off the teams they're playing is important to just store in the back of the memory and keep a track of, and see how they develop over the coming seasons. If this team stays together, where do they go? Watch player movements and see how they develop. And I think people, it's a little hard to keep that in the back of your mind as a casual viewer, but as people are watching this more and more, and especially diehard fans of the Siege scene, just remember that. Remember that these are players that have come up, and this is the start of their journey now. This is where the real journey begins, playing in top leagues in the region.
And the thing like I'd like to point out just to tie this up nicely is LFO, I think as a core has been together for well over a year. Like I think they've had like very minimal roster swaps. So like when people think of like, oh, they're just an open qualified team, they'll probably made the Sunday before, like that kind of deal. This is a core that has been constantly grinding to try and break it in. And now that they've finally broken it in, they can finally show off what their true potential is, and it's really exciting to see how explosive it's been.
Yeah, have to agree. And I think one roster change they have made, which probably helped them a lot in that transition, is picking up Hills. And he was part of Acme back in last Six Masters. He actually played at the Melbourne Esports Open LAN. And so he has had some of that experience already in terms of competing against high-level teams. And even though that's minimal, it still helps just having somebody on your team with just a bit of a guiding voice that has had that experience or that exposure that can really help you. And I think that probably has had a benefit for them.
And all that experience adds up. Like, there's...
Yeah.
It reaches a certain point where you go, well, how much more experience can you get before you've reached your peak and your potential? But you're right, these teams, these players coming up, this is all experience and information gathering and competing at a different level, no different to literally any other sport or most esports titles as well. As soon as you move into that next echelon of competition, it's another learning curve, and all of this counts right now. So they got to keep it up, and I think they will.
So we'll probably go to a little bit more in-depth look at some of the players and their operators as well. I see that Ducky have written some notes down here in our segment sheet. So you've written a couple ones, Warden versus Ethan. What do you think about that? I believe Ducky wrote that down. I hope Ducky did.
I did write that down. That was that was a powerlifting contest basically. Which person could carry harder, and it did come down to literally a 1v1. It wasn't between those two players, but it was a 1v1 to finish off. It was Consulate last night.
Yeah, it was
and
Consulate.
just-
Yeah.
That last round had me like I was on the edge of my seat. Like,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
oh,
That was nuts. That whole match last night was nuts. And you're right, it was totally a Warden versus Ethan show. For a long time, I mean, teammates on Ferox, I think most of them had 2 or 3 kills well into that map, and then Warden was out there on like 11 or 12. Ethan's teammates were winning a little bit more gunfights, but of course he was way ahead of the pack and continued that trend. It just felt like every round was just an Ethan multi-kill. He was just taking whatever gunfight he felt comfortable taking, and he was just winning them all, and it was nuts.
I think it was like going into like round 8 or 9, and it was like Ethan was sitting on 16 kills, and I think the next highest on Wildcard was 5. And then
Yeah.
you looked over at Ferox, and Warden was on 11 kills or 12 kills, and the next highest was 2. Like, it was just like these two guys were absolutely just butting heads, and it made for quite possibly, I think, the most exciting map we've had so far in Six Masters. If you haven't gone back and watched it, I highly recommend you do so. Ethan was out there setting records. I think 23 is quite possibly not just a oceanic record, but quite possibly like a world record for kills on a map in Pro League / regional play. And across the whole series, he was one short of the 40 bomb. He got 39 frags. It was just an incredible outing from him.
Yep.
I'm happy to announce that he was named Snowball Esports MVP of the week. Basically, everyone in the panel voted for him 3 votes.
Well deserved.
And it was well deserved.
Well deserved. Yep. I remember back when I was chatting to them when Wildcard made it to Tokoname, and I had a nice chat with Silas and Ethan as well, and they were talking about how they're gonna. This was after they had just took Cafe off Na'Vi. So you took Cafe off the Europeans, you're onto something, but they couldn't clinch it out, and it was really close at the end. I think they got beaten at not Villa. No, not Villa. No. It was Coastline. They got beaten at Coastline, and I can't remember the third map, but they really did push Na'Vi, the guys that went on to win the tournament. They pushed them to their limits. So it's obvious that in the time between Tokoname, then you had the Invitational, and now they've really started to gel a bit more. They started to learn from their mistakes, and I feel like that is the sign of a really good team. Yes, it is in the APAC region, and I don't think I feel like people sell the APAC region really short. Yet we are consistent on the main stage and on the group stages. So it's we are a force to be reckoned with, and I feel like that Wildcard really have started to improve, and it's really nice to see that because they're a great bunch of guys, and it's really nice to see when a good bunch of guys do really well in a tournament. I think we'll all agree that is.
It's been good for them, like especially now that they've worked in Geo and Pat. Like it was definitely very shaky at the end of Pro League Season 11. Now they're on top by themselves in Six Masters. They've gotten the 4 map wins. There's daylight between them and the rest of the pack. And it's not just Geo and Pat hanging on for dear life while the rest of the team with their international experience comes through and pulls up the big numbers. Like Geo I'm pretty sure Geo aced last week on Legion. Like he's been pulling up consistently in top fragging when Ethan hasn't been doing crazy shit. Like it's been some really solid performances team wide, and it's a shame that we don't have something like an international tournament that we can look forward to in the near future. Because I definitely think that would be a really good contender to represent not only ANZ but APAC there.
Yeah, a couple of good points that you guys brought up. With Wildcard in particular, yeah, I think they really are starting to return to some strengths. I'm holding my final judgment, I guess, until they start to play the other top teams that are around them at the moment. So TBD, Elevate, even actually they did play Sinister, so that was also really close. And that's the thing, is they have been winning and they've been playing a lot better, but their victories have been quite close. So it's not been necessarily convincing. But I totally agree in that they look like they're really starting to gel together really well, and they could be a top contender within our region. And then in terms of APAC as a whole broad thing internationally, you're right. I don't know what it's going to take for APAC to ever shake off this, that we're just bottom feeder teams that don't deserve our spots, which seems to come up a lot at most international events. Even after Fnatic did so well at Invitational, people just assume that because Fnatic did so well, they're just clearly the best team in our region. Everybody else just doesn't matter. They all clearly suck because Fnatic's always there.
Yeah.
But like Fnatic were losing maps in Pro League Season 11 to other teams here in ANZ. So I think that says a lot about those other teams. And also Fnatic is the one that have the best resources, hands down. So they should be on top, right?
Yeah. It's like saying G2 is the best European team because they're always at every land. But like, I mean, we look at the last Invitation Pro League, they only got in because they won last time. So
yeah,
that was it. They got the pity invite.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's a common thing with our region as well. Like it happens across titles. It has happened for the longest time in Counter-Strike, and now we have two really solid Australian-dominated teams signed to large North American organizations, 100 Thieves and Renegades. So, you know, we're seeing that it's taken time, and the CS scene has certainly been around a lot longer than the Rainbow Six Siege scene in Australia, but that developing story is a path to play in what Australian and New Zealand players can achieve in world-leading rosters. So I think it's only time for global Siege fans to realize that we're not to be slept on.
100%.
Totally agree.
I can't agree more. Also, I want to touch a bit on PK, Arlo fitting nicely in. Do we have any comments on that one?
I agree. He's been fitting in super well. They don't look affected by massive synergy issues. I mean, usually when you change a player, so for example, Ferox, I think is probably a good example for this. Bringing in Todd, he was, for a lot of his career, quite the impact player. You would see him sometimes popping off, having really big matches, especially back in the old Atletico days. And then even when he was playing on Oddity Esports last year, there would be matches where Todd was having really clear impacts. And for about 3 of the 4 maps we've seen of Ferox so far, he really struggled to get into the game. In map 1 last night, for example, I think it was after 8 or 9 rounds before he even got his first frag. And that's just very unlike Todd. So that shows that clearly he's having problems gelling in, and that's just mainly more of a time thing. But PK, that has not been an issue with Arlo at all. I mean, I think he was their top fragger in one of their matches this week.
His Ophir on Clubhouse was very good. Like he was pulling out the LMG. That was nice.
That's right. Yeah,
that getting used. And it's like it's he was previously on the roster, and obviously now that Sticks, I think there was like rumors of like them being the 2 butting heads in that team back when Arlo and Sticks were on the same roster. So now that Sticks is off to Fnatic, Arlo's now fitting back in. I think they are looking for actually a full core 5th. But he's fitting in just fine. Like, you know, PK's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say that like there's a scenario where looking to replace him permanently, at least. I mean, if they want to, or maybe he can't commit to the time that they need for practice, fair enough. But like definitely in terms of his performances from a viewer perspective, because of course we don't get access to comms and that kind of thing. But definitely from a viewer perspective, Arlo looks like he's playing really well.
It's good to see. So before we wrap up the segment, I'd like to pick your brain a bit, Raven. So who are we starting to see our ladder right now, our final ladder right now, or do you think there is going to be some surprise rises, surprise falls even? What are your takes? What are your hot takes right now on the season?
I think that the top 4 and the bottom 4 are starting to separate how I would have expected them to. So we've seen Elevate, Wildcard, TBD, and Sinister assume the top 4 positions at the moment. And I think the way Sinister's playing, it's fair to say that they could have a really good chance of clinging on to a top 4 spot, especially because Fnatic isn't in. But there are some teams that might be able to take it off them. So I think that's going to be between LFO and Ferox. They're probably the more dark horse teams in terms of who could break into the top 4 for playoffs. But unfortunately for PK and Kanga, I just feel like Six Masters isn't their time to really progress higher through the ranks. So I'm kind of thinking they're going to stick around the bottom. But the other 6, I think, is going to be a really close contest, at least for the next few weeks. We might start to see some separation. But yeah, in terms of that top 4, Elevate, Wildcard, TBD, it's really hard to write them off not securing a top 4 spot.
Yeah, it's really going to be tough to see that, especially since Wildcard and Elevate aren't going to be facing each other until June. So
Yeah.
it's really tough to see who'll be holding the top spot. I agree, yeah. Ducky, do you have any sides on this? And then we'll go over to Judge. I'm curious to see.
Yeah, I agree with Raven for the most part. I think this season for like teams like Kanga especially, like Kanga were gutted before Six Masters, and so this has been a time for them to like rebuild. So obviously not many people were expecting much from them. I'm not honestly expecting much more than what they've shown, but I think we'll see a steady like development on them as a team and their core. I think we'll start to see them put in stronger performances, get some nice close maps, win a couple of maps, and they'll be great for them to finish the season on a high. On the other end of the scale, I think Wildcard have got the slightest lead now. It's only a 1 win between them and second and third, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see that break out to 2 or 3 wins in the coming weeks. And then I think the race between 2 and 5 right now is really interesting. So that's your Elevate, TBD, Sinister, and LFO. All of them are sitting on 2 wins or more. So I think that's going to be a super interesting race. I think LFO has strength of schedule well in their stride. As long as they can keep their form up, they can definitely sneak into a top 4. When you think that they've already played Elevate and TBD, they've only got really Wildcard, and I reckon they'll be able to tie maps or even clutch up a win against Sinister. So if they can just keep the form up that they've had in the last few weeks, I think we could definitely see a shake up in the top 4.
Nice. And if anyone in the chat wants to catch all that Rainbow Six action, and Raven as well, see his beautiful face again, you can see that all next week, May 12th and 13th at 7 p.m. Australian Freedom Time, as I call it, but Australian Eastern Time. That is, yeah, you can catch all the details on the computer or the website. Please go in and check it out. It is probably one of the, and I really must say, congratulations. I'm going to congratulate you, Raven, because I don't know who else to congratulate. That Rainbow Six made it to Tier 1, a Tier 1 space esports.
Yeah.
About time.
It is about
time.
Yeah, it felt like it's been coming for a little while.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no better time considering the new regional league system that's going to be coming in. I think it's a really exciting time to get into CG Sports.
Exactly. I feel like people are sleeping on Rainbow Six right now, and they should really pick up. Tune in next time. You can see Raven, you can see Dev, you can see the guys as well. It's a really good sport to watch, and it's the new observer stuff. They've really worked in the camera quite well. They've learned from their mistakes. They've added in things so it's more better for the viewing experience. It's just a good esport to watch, and I feel like it's a good one to get into right now. And now's probably the best time, or anytime's the best time, honestly. But if you want to get into it, start watching Six Masters. Tune in.
You're stuck in ISO. Just chuck on Twitch.
Yeah, it's not that hard, people. It's not that hard. I do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Honestly. Now, I wish I had another shirt to tear into this next segment, but I don't.
I mean, you could.
I could, but I do not want to break tier.
Our show would be swiftly finished.
Yes, it would be done, Zell, or I'm not. Chat, shut up! I'm not ripping it. We had a segment.
In the chat right now. If we get 400 people vote yes, he'll rip the shirt.
I'm not gonna tear my shirt.
Can you? We're like
can you guys
5% of the way there?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, if we take this show live, I will be tearing off my shirt. Okay, live is on stage. Chat better shut up about it. This was I would say, controversial segment last week, but I'm going to get right into it. What's up with Ray, everyone?
What is up?
What's he?
Nico, tell us what's up with Ray.
Well, Judge, if I'm going to tell you what's up with Ray right now, he's not doing too well. He's not doing too well. He seems like he's playing a bit of Call of Duty. He's got those old man hands. You know, we've all got that. I've got that. I don't know about you guys. But in one of his tweets, he said it 21 hours ago. FPS games are the hardest, and I don't care what anyone says. Always getting fucking wrecked. Wrecked spelled R-E-K-T.
FPS games aren't the only thing Ray's bad at. I mean, like, us snowballs, we sat in call. It was like 1 a.m. yesterday. We watched Ray absolutely try and grind his way to a 50-minute league game victory, and it was a rough ride for Mr. Andrew Ray.
It's a rough ride, and hey, we've all been there. And now we have an FPS expert on the show. Raven, please help our friend Ray. How could he get a little bit better? Do you have any advice for a person that is struggling in the FPS world?
So besides get good and just shoot heads, I would suggest maybe just reviewing his. Is he using mouse and keyboard or controller?
I think he's an MNK guy. He's an MNK.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
MNK. You can just say
Well, he
mouse and
passes one test.
What? It's the Zoom lingo, bro.
Yeah, alright. Sorry, he's using MNK.
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing that a lot of people undervalue is reviewing their sensitivity on their mouse for their aim. A lot of people have it too sensitive, and that's going to be screwing you over more than you think. So, trying to get that down a bit lower and actually doing aim training. If you lack basic mechanical skill to aim well, then 100% that's a great place to start.
I think he does lack in that, so that will be very handy advice for him.
Okay, great.
So aim down sights. I think I could give him some advice. I think you gotta, stop the shakes a bit like that. I get excited when I get kill after kill after kill. But because I'm a seasoned warrior, I like to call myself.
When is that? Yeah. When are you getting kill after kill after kill?
I've never seen him get kill after kill. I've killed in Siege multiple times.
When are you getting the shakes? Are you sure?
Oh no. I think this is the time to rip the shirt off, like...
But I like to say that once you get used to it, you get used to all the kills you're getting. You're like, these are too many. It takes away their thrill. And then all that eases down. So my advice to him is just get more kills. That's all I'm going to say. It's just,
Or you could just become like me in Siege and just play cam ops constantly and not actually have to shoot bullets. Great.
You are you're like the camper with reason. I'm helping. There's things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Look, I'm marking. My cam's destroyed. I'm out, guys.
The closest I get to shooting is shooting Maestro's Evil Eye. Like, that's what I do.
This is that, like, are you the Maestro or Echo player that's just prone in, like, the weird hiding spot, and then it becomes a 1v5, and you're still on your camera, you're like, man, I've got this clutch, no doubt.
That's me.
You just get rolled from behind.
No matter what. Like, I've got this part down packed.
I would consider myself quite the maestro. I sit in Clubhouse. I sit in that you would know the rooms because you guys are the experts, but the room where it's got the bathroom and it's in the bedroom, the one with the bathroom where usually someone can go hide in, like an Echo.
Yeah, it's in like the shower cubicle in the master bedroom.
Shower cubicle.
Bathroom.
That is my home. Might as well just set up camp in there.
What about that? Is my downstairs in Clubhouse though? That's a bit more open. But there's a bit of privacy in there.
It is. Yeah, there's much more bit of privacy, but I like that one because I can cover the window leading in, and that's one of. I feel like that's a crucial window. Judge, do you have any advice for our poor boy Ray? You're an FPS guy.
I am. My FPS journey dates back way to Call of Duty Black Ops 1, and my biggest tip is following very much with Raven's experience for Ray's low sensitivity. Gone are the days of trick shots off of Modern Warfare cranes, bro. You're not flicking. You need to be aiming for heads, not spinning around and finding them. So get that sensitivity down low, and make sure you're sitting comfortably. Like, don't be a crouch gamer. It is the worst thing for your aim. Make sure you are comfortable, upright, feet planted, and at as close to 90 degrees as you can. Ergonomic gamer, right? That's what we need.
As Papa Smithy used to say, check your posture.
Check your posture. Damn right.
Check your posture. I love it. And we got a little bit of we got someone special in chat. Raven16Z. Raven. They should tell Ray what should he tune into? What show should he tune into?
Oh, well, yes, if he wants to learn more about Rainbow Six specifically, especially about strategy and gadgets, operators, that kind of thing. Late Night Siege is on Rainbow Six ANZ tomorrow night, hosted by myself and Dev Mata. That'll be 8 p.m. AEST. You'll get lots of helpful tips, and it's quite a long show, interactive. You can ask all the questions in chat, so you'll be able to learn heaps of stuff.
Highly recommend it. Last week's episode with Vincia was awesome. So if you want to get into Siege, definitely recommend giving that a look at. And the strategies will help you no matter if you're just picking up the game for the first time, you've just bought it on Steam or Uplay, all the way through to your plat and you're trying to make that grind to diamond. It's definitely worth it.
Perfect. Can't ask for more. So Ray, if you're listening, you probably are. Look, we just gave you some hot tips. So you're going to what? You're gonna have to get more kills. You have to lower your mouse sensitivity. Ducky, which one was yours? What was your one? It was.
I just sit on cams, bro.
Oh,
Sit on cams, bro.
Sit on cams. It's sort of
The
contradictory.
alternative. If you can't follow our advice and get good, just sit on cams, bro.
Ducky's just embracing that. Just do nothing. If you can't do it, do nothing.
Exactly.
I've always been a not so mechanically intensive player. Like I'm a support player in League, and I like playing Yumi. So that's how I vibe.
Oh man, I don't play League that much, and even I know that's dirty. All right. That's what's up with Ray, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I think we nailed some really nice stuff for him. I think he's going to get some advice. I'm looking forward to it. I hope he streams it. I'm going to love it.
He needs something, then.
He needs something.
Exactly. So we're jumping over to the good stuff. The stuff I look forward to. I don't know about anybody else, but I look forward to this segment. This is one of my favorite segments. It's called the fun segment. There was meant to be a sting of music there.
We really need some good names for these segments.
Yes, this is the fun segment. Literally, that's what it's called in my rundown.
That's what.
Now I like exactly. Now I like chatting in hypotheticals, some what ifs, some what isn't. Raven, here's a what if. If Ubisoft slid into your DMs and said, "Hey man, we're done with some of these operators, and we want some of them gone, but only you get to decide which one can go," right? And you're like, "Wow, where did this come from? It's expected, I know, but where did this come from? I don't understand." And like, just give us an operator and it's gone. It's deleted from the game forever and you never have to see it again. Do you have an operator that you would want to see?
An operator I would love to see gone would just be Lion. I don't know. He still doesn't get picked much, but honestly, when you play against like casual players or even a really ranked style sweaty stack, they'll still bring the Lion Ying Dokkaebi kind of combos. And it's still a total pain in the ass, man. I just want to move when I'm trying to take a gunfight. Lion should never have existed.
Lion should never existed.
Yep.
That is very controversial. And I can tell how Ducky is feeling right now. Ducky, can I get your opinion on that real quick before we delve into...
I hate Lion. I hate Lion. I love Finker. I hate Lion. Like,
you love Finker, I hate Lion.
I'm in that camp. He isn't the operator I'd remove. Personally, I just can't stand Clash. But thankfully, she's normally out of the game anyways. So, just... at least Lion doesn't track you through walls anymore, like pure... Like, outline, at least it's pings now. That's one redeeming factor.
One redeeming factor.
Yeah.
Judge, I don't know how well versed you are in Rainbow Six. Do you have anyone that you'll get rid of?
Oh, I'm waiting for this. Ubisoft, I love you guys, and you've had Clash out of the game so fucking long because of bug fixes and shit. Just remove the damn operator. We don't need her. Gone. Just revamp. Gone. Okay. Thank you. That's all. Like I'm pretty chill about it, but like honestly, Clash
I can
is fun.
tell you're pretty chill, bro. You're pretty chill.
Like, it's not like I care.
You're not traumatized by anything at all, right?
No, it's not like I've had really traumatic experiences where a Clash is 1v5 standing on the diffuser and just fucking zapping everyone and winning around it. Yeah, no, I have never had that. I've never had that shit. So, it's fine. It's cool.
Well, at least Monty doesn't zap you.
Yeah, at least Monty is just a dense, thick tree trunk, and you just walk up to him and just slap him a few times, and it's fine. Like, if you get 4 of you slapping a Monty, you'll probably still lose the round, but it was fun.
I mean, now that you have... Yeah.
No!
So, I'm going to put down Judge as a no for Clash. That's a no for Kev.
Polite,
Just I'll put,
preferably not. Yeah.
yeah, preferably not. That's like a leaning between maybe and no. So I'm gonna put that there.
50-50.
I feel like Monty's not big of an issue now that like you can get an Oryx involved. So, I mean, stops that all.
There's plenty of
bullshit
Monty
happening.
planners. Like, yeah.
There's plenty. Yeah. C4
Just C4. That's
Legion.
hitting
Yeah,
him
Legion's
once.
always a good one.
I don't know. Yeah, Legion. Yeah. My one. I'm just gonna intro myself into this one.
oh,
So
please do.
my. Thank you.
Nico,
So
Nico, what operator would you get rid of? There's your intro.
I would have preferred if I introed myself, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry. Go again. I'll just.
No,
Any feelings, bro?
my okay, there's a champ fuck it, out of my head, operator. There's an operator that I hate more than I like playing, and that is Kavera. I hate playing against Kavera, and I like playing Kavera, but I hate her more than I like playing her, if you know what I mean. Because I like playing her as well, because you get those, like, you just get the pip, and it's the drop, the instant drop of the headshot, and you're just like, oh, I'm John Wick. And that's what I scream whenever I get at least 2 headshots. I'm just like, I'm John Wick! I'm John Wick! And everyone, and all the randoms on my comms are just like, what is happening to this man? But
All the randoms in your comms are asking for push to talk. That's what they're asking for.
Exactly, because Now, I know what you're going to say, Raven. You're going to say, Nick, but she's useless when you have great team coordination. Well, Raven, I don't have great team coordination. So there's that. I like.
That's right.
So
I wasn't going to say
little-
that. I was
He
actually
doesn't
just
have
going to
great
say.
coordination, like, regardless.
Yeah, I was
No,
going
no, I
to say
wanna
you're
hear
just
what-
giving everybody a really good indicator of what your rank is. That's fine.
Oops.
I was gold, and the kicker was I was gold. I'm now silver. Let's go.
Exactly. So yeah, I admit I'm not that high ranked, but hey, you know, I'm in it for the casual experience. I do like to play. I like to get sweaty and play ranked a bit. I don't play Kavera too much in ranked. You know, if I'm playing ranked, I'll play like a smoke, or if I'm on defending, I'll play smoke. But smoke or Legion, I used to play a lot of Legion before the nerfs.
Yeah.
They're nerfs. Let's not sugarcoat it. They're nerfs. They're obviously nerfs. But
They are.
That has a camera. I'm playing it.
I still play Jaeger a lot, even after he's got like the heavy boots from Zelda on his fucking shoes now, and now he can't run really fast. That's fine with me. And Zofia, I play a lot of Zofia as well. So you know, it's.
How do you think Mozzie feels? His portrait still has the super shorty in it.
I can't
Can't even
believe
equip it anymore.
Great point.
He's
Like,
exactly
the photo, like the promo photo of Mozzie has him on the dirt bike, like doing a nice little skit, and he's like, "Yeah, I've got my super."
That's my
shorty."
Twitter.
gone.
That's my
Gone.
Twitter. That's my Twitter thing. It's my Twitter thing now, and it's ruined because, and he's no longer has the super shorty, so he's now the literal super shorty because he's what 5'5". He's my short man. Love
He's a
playing.
short king.
I think every Australian, every NZ player has an affinity for Gridlock and Mozzie. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah.
Definitely.
Purely because
What
they're
plot
Australian.
happens?
You know what? I think we got down to the nuts and bolts of it all. Now, can I just ask now? We've done with operators. These operators are gone, and they said they come into your DMs again, Raven, and they're just like, "Hey, man, great job, great bloody job." They're gone. We need a map now. We want you to get rid of a map. We're done with this map. A remade one can go, or an old school one could go. Do you have a map in mind that you would like to see?
I'm going to give two answers. One, because it's more like the pro league level, and I would like to see it mess with teams a little bit. Get rid of Clubhouse. And it's not because I don't like it. I think Clubhouse is an awesome map. But teams play a lot of it, and I like to see more variation. For example, come on, guys, play more Theme Park. Theme Park's a great map. I like casting Theme Park.
Park is awesome.
Yeah, it really is. There's that. But in terms of my personal experience, fucking hell, get rid of Chalet. I hate that map so much.
I love Chalet! Chalet! I love Chalet! Sorry, I love...
People like 5v5 gunfights outside of Snowmobile? Like, isn't that like your idea of fun?
Oh man, that map is just... I just find it so hard to move around on that map or just feel comfortable in any position, which is just really frustrating. And then so many of the defenses just feel very like same thing every single time you play it. And yeah, I don't know, you just get stuck in places that it's just annoying. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It sucks.
No, I can sympathize with that. Defending on upstairs in Chalet can be quite difficult because it's just basically wood walls and windows.
Yep.
The attackers have a bit of an advantage in that one. Ducky, we went with you last time. Judge, do you have a map that you don't like?
Look, I agree on Chalet that I just think it's crap. Like, there's just a lot on Chalet I'd change. First, the wood and windows thing is actually a really big point. I don't enjoy it casually either. On either side, I find that as an attacker, it's crap as well because just grab an LMG and spray and you'll connect with someone somewhere. Like, that's not fun to me. But I don't think I'd get rid of it right now because I'll just opt never to play it and just dodge and be a horrible person. I'm sick of Bank. I'm just sick of Bank. It's boring. It's the same shit. Like, it's a okay map. Nothing wrong with Bank, really. It's just boring. So get rid of it. Give me something new.
All right. Ducky?
Well,
Slam dunk one.
if we're going to keep talking about things that we love and hate about Chalet and mostly hate, I'm going to talk about the one thing I love. The one thing I love about Chalet is the Amaru strat that you can run by bursting through the top, like, the balcony barricades, and then you get your supernova, and you get the hatch that leads down into basement. You just go one fell swoop right down into basement. That's the most fun I've ever had playing Siege. Still wouldn't have the map in the pool, but it's not my least favorite map. Like,
right.
I know it's getting reworked, but it was the map when I first played Siege and made me want to not play the game, and that's House.
That's a good point.
Fair.
Yeah, fair.
I started playing Siege, and I was constantly getting put onto House games, and it made me very sad. And so I do not like that map. I do think the rework is going to make it better, but I still hate it. Just purely for the memories. As for maps that have been recently in Pro League or still are in Pro League, can I be a bit contrarian and say Coastline? Like, I like some of the strats you can pull out on Coastline. I just feel like I've seen a lot of it. Can we have something else, please?
No, I completely agree. I feel like Coastline can be a bit of a real... It's a bit obvious what's going to happen in a game. Usually what I'll do is I'll try and drone out that top window that looks down at the main entrance that people like to peek out of. And always there's someone there ready to peek me. So, I agree.
Yeah. And then you got like the guys rappelling on roof, and they have like those beautiful sight lines into billiards because your teammates didn't reinforce the walls. Yeah. That's really fun.
Yeah.
You sound like you enjoy that just as much as I enjoy Clash, Ducky.
Oh.
You sounded defeated there. You sounded like you've just... Man, I've had a tough day. That's right. Coastline.
I've had enough teams who can't defend hooker billiards that it makes me not want to play Coastline ever again.
You ever want to trigger Ducky on a night out? Just like, yo, you want to go get some shisha? Let's go.
and then we can go to the blue bar downstairs.
Yeah, that's it. Let's go play some snooker. Let's go, boys.
Enough of that. No.
Ducky with the Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah. Choppers gone. The Fortunate Son's playing off, and they're like in the background. I'm gonna be a bit off the. So this is gonna make me sound like I hate South America, but I don't. I love South America. Favela. I think Favela is probably one of the worst maps that is currently in the system right now. It's not. We had it a lot during in casual mode when it was in the rotation. I don't think it's in the rotation right now. But when it was in the rotation, we would immediately eye roll to the back of our heads because it's just wood. It is wood. It's hard to defend, and it's only fun if you're playing Carly. That's it. I said it. It's Carly's map. It's Carly's map because it truly is. But if I was going to get rid of that one, I'll get rid of that one from casual. And if I was going to get rid of one from Pro League, I'll get rid of Cafe because everyone goes on Cafe. I think I agree with Raven says where it's like switch it up a bit. Just remove it from the rotation and put in something different. Theme park, fuck it. Yeah, put theme park. A yacht, put yacht in. Yacht's a fucking interesting map.
No.
I'm with Nico here.
I don't mind yacht.
I like
When
yacht.
you're
Spicy.
Yeah, defending engine room is the most interesting defense, I think, because you have the upper area which people can look down in on. So you got to defend up there, but you also have to defend down there. And there's a lot of I don't know. I
love pulling out of Valk. I love pulling out of Valk on yacht. Very fun.
Yes,
Good call.
Worst thing about that map though is like there's no destructibility on the floors, so it feels kind of like
That's fair.
I don't know, discount siege, right? Because you can't rip up the floors to try and attack site, anything like that. It's just the stairwells, there's floors, and yeah, I don't know.
It just
I
feels
find
very
that
television,
it's like the
very
complete
corridored.
opposite of the event that's on right now. Which, if you haven't played,
Oh yeah, yes. I'm gonna
Yes.
mention at the end of this at the end of the show, real quick. But yeah, well, in saying that, we've wrapped it up. We've given our yays and nays. You're welcome, Ubisoft. You're welcome. You're welcome. We've just given you some golden opportunities. Our check will be in the mail. Thank you very much. PayPal me, please, first. I would like to...
no Venmo or Cash App, bro?
No Venmo, no Cash App. I do. If you could do cold hard cash, if you could just send it in a letter to my mailbox with like undisclosed amount. You know how they work. They work in mysterious ways.
Yeah. Manila folder.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much to our special guest, Raven, for to coming in and sharing his thoughts, his opinions. They're always welcome. And look, I had a great time, and you're more than welcome to come back on again.
Thanks, man. I really enjoyed my time here. You guys are pretty funny, so I haven't stopped smiling. It's been really, really fun.
Pretty funny. I'm going to put that on my tombstone.
That's on the resume.
That's going to be on my resume. Yeah.
I'm going to go down to my references on my CV and just be like, you're pretty funny. Ravencasts 2020.
Yeah, do it. It'll hold up.
It'll hold up. I'm looking forward to it.
They'll see it and they'll be like, wow, this guy worked in COVID.
Exactly. So he shows dedication, and he found me funny. I'd like to thank Judge coming in as well. Judge, always my co-host, lovely, and Ducky, his expert opinions. He's always a great regular having on here. Ducky's opinions are always insightful and beautiful. Please sub to these guys. That's a blanket point. Please go sub, go follow. Tune into Talking Siege tomorrow night. And next week, I've said all the dates before.
Talking Siege. That's
Talking Siege. What did I say?
You said Talking Siege. It's Late Night Siege now, bro.
Late Night Siege.
Come on. Sorry, Late Night Siege. Sorry. Please don't hurt me. And tune into the Six Masters. Please do. Great esports. Great to get amongst it. We're going to delve into. Does anyone want to do Judge? Do some news. Weekend in esports.
Weekend of esports for you, my friends. Friday, we've got CSGO. I'm still good, am I, Nico?
Yeah, go!
Go. I was just confused by you jamming. We got CSGO.
Sorry, I'm
3 minutes for an hour. 3 minutes for an hour.
All right, if you want to wake up real early, you can catch 100 Thieves against Team Liquid tomorrow at 6 a.m. it should be for the Freedom Time, and that's in the ESL 1 Road to Rio NA quarterfinal. Around midday tomorrow to 12:30, depending on where you're based, it's Renegades and Chiefs facing off in their ESL 1 Road to Rio matchup. And Ground Zero and Order will be doing the same. We've also got NBA 2K tomorrow. It's week 1, day 3. That starts at 8:30 a.m. or 9 o'clock for the Eastern States. Saturday, we're also going to be heading to some Counter-Strike. If you want to wake up super early again, you'll get Gen G and Cloud9 facing off. And then Sunday, it's the semi-final for the ESL 1 Road to Rio NA. It'll be the winner of Gen G and C9 facing off against someone else. I don't know. Didn't get time to look. At 4:30 p.m. on Sunday, great for Mother's Day. We've got some Overwatch contenders apparently coming up, so get back into that while we're shitting on the
Please
Overwatch
get
League.
back into that.
Please come to Snowball Esports and read Overwatch content. Please. We're just about to call it.
Ducky
needs
needs
Nico
some
happy,
food.
I've even included in here 6 p.m., 5:30 p.m. Central, and God knows for Ducky time, it's Dota 2, it's Newbie and Royal Never Give Up facing off, so watch that if you're into some really good Dota 2 action, because that should be a good game.
Fuck yes! You censor that. That was awesome.
Still had a minute to go. He started in time.
Exactly.
I'm fucking great.
And on that note, thank you for tuning in. We'll be here next week. please, in the Twitter comments, if you like something, clip it, share it. We would like to hear your suggestions. I see chat talking. I see Ty's. I know Ty's has got some opinions. I want to hear them. Please share them. We want to talk about topics next week. Feel free to reach out to any of us. You got the Discord. You got the Twitter. You got everything. Please go on to snowballesports.com. Subscribe. To everyone here, you know the drill. I'm not going to bore you guys with the details. I'm just padding until it hits to 9 p.m. so I can round it off to a nice little number. And we've done a good job. And am I just filling time? I might be just filling time.
He's rambling.
I'm rambling. It is now 9 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us, Raven. You've been a gem. You've been absolute diehard. Thank you to Judge. I almost called you Judgy and Duck. Judge and Ducky. Thank you so much. Good work. GG, lads. I like that. GG, lads. Bye,
GG,
everyone.
lad.
GG.